How are you doing, Cali Crowd? My lsit progress diary series showed how I went from 0 to being able to hold an lsit on the floor for 10 seconds. Today, I'm going to be going through exactly what I did to improve my lsit mobility. If you would like to be part of the motivating and helpful community that is Cali To The Crowd, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell as well so that you never miss out on a Cali To The Crowd video. Mobility. Before I get into what I did to increase it, it'll be good to understand what mobility actually is. A lot of people tend to use mobility and flexibility interchangeably, but they're not exact synonyms of each other. Put simply, our flexibility is defined by our ability to passively lengthen our muscles. So to describe someone as being flexible, what we're actually saying is that their muscles are more malleable or stretchy, whereas mobility is characterized by joints and how good they are at actively taking our body through a specific range of motion. Flexibility does play a part here, but the other ingredients for mobility are strength and coordination. In simple terms, the difference between flexibility and mobility is control. So when we take the lsit, for example, lots of people have the flexibility to passively sit on the ground with their back straight, but not many people have the control to perform such a movement while holding their whole body weight up from the floor. I see so many people think that they're increasing their mobility for things like the lsit by simply trying to touch their toes, and I was one of them. As I mentioned, mobility is characterized by joints, and I could have spent ages stretching out my muscles, but it wouldn't have meant much because I wasn't working on how much control I had over them in that range of motion. Which brings us back to the question, how do I improve mobility for the lsit? And there are two answers to that. First is joint education. We need to understand the joint responsible for the movement pattern you're looking to develop, and then educate yourself on how they're supposed to move and what muscles influence those joints. In my case, I was trying to learn to lsit, and the joint I was dealing with was mainly the hips. The main muscle I had been contending with by trying to touch my toes was the hamstrings and making them more flexible, which is very important. But as we already saw, I definitely have the hamstring flexibility to do the lsit because I could sit on the floor in an L shape. But in order to improve my hip mobility for the lsit, the muscles I needed to strengthen through their full range of motion were my hip flexors, specifically my quads. You see, the quadriceps have many jobs, and the lsit actually demands them to do quite a few of them simultaneously. They're responsible for flexion of the hip, lifting of the leg, extending the knee, so getting them legs straight, adduction of the legs, so bringing the legs together, and medial rotation of the leg. The second thing I needed to work on was direct mobility work. What I was struggling with was actively controlling my muscles in that range of motion. So I needed to get my quads familiar with working and contracting further while in that compressed lsit state. To do that, I used seated kicks to amazing effect. What we're gonna do here is sit down on a bench with our hands gripping underneath. This will simulate the shoulder depression during an lsit. Next, we need to lean forward while maintaining a neutral spine, lift your foot off the ground, and then extend the knee with the aim of getting a straight leg. With extending the leg, you'll be very tempted to flex the spine, so really focus on keeping the chest up loud and proud. The progressions for this include cycling the leg, pulsing the leg, and then finally 2 legs. But I want to know what you do to improve lsit mobility, or mobility in general for that matter. Make sure you leave those tips down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button as it really helps us out. And guys, I'll see you next week.